kind. Welcome to another episode of Conversation with a Chef. I'm Jo Ritty and I love sharing with you the conversations I get to have with talented and passionate chefs. It's the backstory, if you will, to the food they're putting up. I begin today by acknowledging the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, traditional custodians of the unceded land where this conversation takes place, and I pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. When you talk to Matt McConnell about food, hospitality and Bar Lourinhã, there's a quiet certainty and warmth that comes through immediately. 20 years is a long time to do anything well, and Bar Lourinhã has done it with quiet confidence. And Matt approaches this milestone with equal parts pride, humility and curiosity. A long wandering journey through Spain and Portugal in the 90s inspired the bar on Little Collins Street, which is built on warmth, simplicity and generosity. In this conversation, Matt reflects on that trip that changed everything, the discipline of consistency and the enduring joy of feeding people well. Hi, Matt. I wanted to start by saying congratulations on 20 years of Bar Lourinhã. That's huge.
It's massive.
It is.
We've really launched into this year saying that quite a lot, and each time now I'm going, it's really great, but I also feel incredibly old when I say it as well. It's like a milestone birthday if you're turning 40 or 50 or whatever. It's like, oh, it's a great achievement, but oh my gosh, how did I get here?
Yeah, well, we can discuss how you got here. I was reading about the life-changing trip you made to Spain in the 90s, and I wondered, you know, obviously that sparked the idea for Bar Lourinhã. What do you still hold with you from that trip?
So much, and the trip would never have happened if there wasn't the 3 or 4 year period before that where we left Melbourne. We'd always been living and working in Melbourne. We'd done a lot of trips to Europe, but we left Melbourne to go and live in Queensland and work with an amazing couple of guys. And I got a really greater sense of cooking produce straight from the fisherman, straight from the farmer. Really great connections with suppliers, which in Melbourne, before I left, I had only a little bit of that and not a great deal, and that just really got me really hooked and cemented what I loved about cooking. And then when it was time to come home, it was, what am I going to come home to? What am I going to do? What are we going to do? Joe's a photographer by trade, and so we knew we wanted to do something simple, but exactly what we weren't sure. And we'd fallen in love with Spain before, spent a lot of time in Italy and Greece as well. So we went on this trip, and within about 2 weeks of being in Spain on that trip, which lasted nearly the whole year, we knew exactly what we wanted, and it was what we've got here at Bar Lourinhã. Nice long bar, beautiful food, simply cooked, and just really warm hospitality. Putting all those pieces together sounds easy, but it's actually quite challenging sometimes. And so we were on this journey. So we've come into Valencia, we're going through the south of Spain and just writing. I'm writing like crazy, ideas and, all the offals that we had and all the different bits and pieces and snails, and can I get this back home in Melbourne? But I'm just putting it and compiling it together. We've got a recipe that I wrote in Sevilla, which we still cook to this day. It's 20 years, it's been on the menu ever since, that people love, and that was like quite affirming to at the 20-year mark to go, oh wow, I did that 21 years ago in a little apartment in Sevilla on a 42-degree day. And yeah, even structure of the menu, I was really inspired by different places. And then we went into Portugal, and that's when this whole other thing sort of developed, and it was like, wow, there's so many similarities, but there's so many differences. The one thing that tied it all was the style of hospitality. It's just incredible warmth, which we loved and we thought was a little bit lacking in Melbourne. We also believed that we were also lacking really, really high quality food in casual bar setting. I think we come from a pub culture, and a lot of pubs weren't offering, really, really interesting and really, really delicious food. So we saw that as sort of our fit. And we were on a bus from Lisbon to Peniche on the coast, and we went through a town called Lourinha. And we just went, isn't that just a beautiful, beautiful name? and we liked it had a beautiful cursiveness to it, and it really rolled off the tongue. And the thing that we loved about it the most is it didn't really scream Spain, and it didn't scream Portugal. We never wanted to be pigeoned as one or the other. We love the Mediterranean, but we just thought Bar Lourinhã, that's it. And so we actually had the name within about 2 or 3 months of the trip, and then we just started piecing all the bits together, all the pieces of the puzzle. Yeah.
And what was the reception 20 years ago when you opened?
Oh, it was pretty good, actually. Yeah. The city was really ripe for more food. There'd been a pretty good little development in bar culture. There were some great little bars that had opened up whilst we were living up in Queensland, and I just think the food bit was a little bit behind. We had great establishments, that have been here for quite some time, but it was really kind of just a blossoming time. I had worked at the Hairy Canary about a decade before, which was one of the pioneering sort of like little all-night eateries in the city, along with a couple of other businesses. So it was really ripe Melbourne was really ready for it. And it was a bit of a ghost town up this end as well. Like there wasn't that many businesses like there are now, and we just sort of slotted into our beautiful little spot at number 37, and had some good response to begin with, and then had a review. And back in those days, a review means make or break, and it was a good review. Not amazing, but the writer really got us and what we wanted to do, and really sort of explain it, and from there it just sort of grew. And so we were a no bookings place. We would just come in any time of day. You can have a drink. You can have a drink and a nibble. You can have the full dinner. You can have a pre-theatre one, or you can have a post-theatre. And we just sort of like really wanted that accessibility that we loved about travelling through Spain and Portugal, where you could drop into a place. You didn't have to book 3 months in advance, but you could get really great quality products, service, drinks. And that was really our ethos, I think, of having that accessibility.
Yeah. There's a couple of threads I want to pick up on from things that you've said, and maybe first for the food. It sounds as though maybe you're saying that whole Mediterranean way is not so much what you're eating, but how you eat. So when people come to Bar Lourinhã, what is the food?
The food. So the food is designed of how you would eat in Spain and Portugal, but we roam the Med for product and inspiration. So by that, in Spain and Portugal, you'll start with little bites to eat. So you've got tapas or petiscos. You can have really, really great little nibbles in that selection, which we really love doing. So we've always got about 6 on the menu, plus another 3 or 4. We do daily specials as well. And then we roll into larger plates designed to share, called raciones. Now these you can share or you can have them on your own. We don't really mind, but if you want to get into it, most people go in and just go hard and get a few plates for the table and really dig in and share. And they're always... So the menu itself of the raciones is comprised of a lot of dishes that just keep coming back over the 20 years. Sometimes they have a little tweak change, depending on different things, but they're all seasonal. And then we use our specials as really a launching pad for new ideas and things that are in season. So Puntarel has just come into season in the last couple of days. Saw one at the market. Did some at home, just thought, I could do something pretty interesting, semi-Portuguese with some beans and puntarel, and all of a sudden I've got something on the menu that I've never used before, and it's working really well. So, and they're probably only around for about 3 or 4 weeks, so that's great to have that little extra card on the side where we can actually play with things that you don't get hold of. I get a phone call from my fish guy. We've got beautiful fresh mullet roe, which only comes in a couple of times a year. Do you want some? Sure. So we've made a bataga for the whole year about 2 weeks ago. So we've got beautiful bataga in-house, which we do a whole different things we can do with as well. So we're really driven by the stimulus around us, I think, and the farmers as well that we deal with within about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes away from the city are growing the most amazing produce. It's organic. They care. they care for the environment, they care for their customers, and it's really, really beautiful to work with people like that, and it really takes me back to where I was in Queensland again.
Yeah.
And so I think having left Melbourne and then to come back and to get a completely different cooking experience for myself, and also, you know, the rest of the city is really benefiting from it. Like a lot of chefs have really tapped into this, and the winners are the customers, because we're getting, you know, really, really good local produce. Yeah.
And that's really so typical of eating in like Mediterranean countries as well. I lived for a year in the south of France a long time ago, well, in the 90s, and it was a long time ago. And I just really loved then, coming from New Zealand, I just, you know, the way that they approach food was at that stage quite different. New Zealand's fabulous now, I think, with food. But, you know, when the asparagus was in season, it was a real celebration. And I had to always sit back and watch how you ate things in you know, France, because, you know, they'd get their plate and they'd tip it upside down, you know, with a fork to kind of create like you know, they'd make a little vinaigrette in the hollow of that plate and dip each spear in and eat it. Or, you know, when the stone fruit was in season, which is a little bit like that here, but I think we've been really, you know, we're so used to, obviously this is a conversation that people have a lot, but we're so used to everything being available all the time in supermarkets that we can lose that seasonal joy of eating, you know, as you say, when something's only there for 4 weeks, you just absolutely love it and just have it then. And
Absolutely. I think there's definitely one thing that Melbourne is great at, though, is markets. We do have a market culture, and I think market cultures give us that seasonality in real life and in real time. It's the convenience of the supermarkets will always be there. We're not going to get rid of them. They're there forever. But being able to have another option, a supermarket, is really, really special. We went to so many markets on that trip, like it was just ridiculous. And the most wonderful things about markets in Spain and Portugal is they've got little corner bars, or they've got little cafes, and they've got really amazing restaurants, I suppose, for lack of a better word, within the walls, selling produce that's sold right in front of you as well.
Yeah.
And that's we're lucky we've got that in Melbourne as well, I think, and I think Melburnians get it as well. Yeah.
True. Yeah, that's right. And it's just, I mean, it gets better and better, I think, with that sort of understanding. Yeah, it's a lucky place to live, for sure.
Definitely.
And the other thread that I wanted to pick up on was hospitality, and I think that that you and Joe and Bar Lourinhã do that so well. From what I've read, this has been a bit of a training ground for a lot of people that have gone on to do their own thing. Yeah. Can you, do you think hospitality is innate, or can people learn?
It's there's a little bit of both, but I think the drive has got to come from within, without a doubt. If you're not really driven by the joys of hospitality, I think it's pretty hard to get. There's robotic style of service out there, which is, and there was actually robots for a while as well, real robots. But I don't think you can replace that real joy of hospitality when you see the look on someone's face when they've tasted a great variety that they've never heard of before, and they go, wow, that's just opened up so much more to me, or tasted some food or a product that they've never seen or heard, or been adventurous enough to try. So challenging customers is really great, and you get such great, what's the word? I think just that joy, you know, it really is, and I've been doing it for 35 years and I still really love it. Yeah. The physical side of the cooking is quite difficult now, but I still love that we have people coming here and just having such a great time, and it's such a combined team effort to actually get that to happen, and so we've really put a lot of emphasis in our team and how important it is, how every single person in this place has an impact on our customers' experience, right down from the kitchen hand all the way through to the front of house team, and just having that connection between the two teams is what really makes it happen. And yeah, look, there are massive challenges within staffing and the training, the level of training of staff in Australia. And that's our biggest fight, I think, is just finding people who want to do it and who can get it and can understand that it's not about us, it's not about themselves, it's about the customer.
Yeah.
And putting customer first.
I think you obviously model that for your staff. When I came in just before, the way that you are so warm and you talk to the staff that were starting off and getting things ready, and when you were doing the handover in the kitchen, I mean, that's where it starts, isn't it? When the owner or chef, head chef, you know, how they interact with their team can really be. I mean, I think it's the base, isn't it?
Yeah, and look, it's a challenging dynamic running a kitchen. It's there's so many aspects of some of them are just completely out of your control sometimes as well. So it's a matter of being able to control as much as you can, and then figuring out what you do when the fisherman sends the wrong prawns, or all the number of things that can possibly go wrong. Which I always joke in the kitchen and saying, you know, don't do it like that, because I've seen so many people over 20 years do it that way and it doesn't work out too well. So that breadth of experience is really hard sometimes to try and explain, but everything's done for a reason as well. It always comes down to, you know, we don't waste things. We hate throwing things in the bin. So we've always been really conscious of using whole animal, and just utilising everything, you know, right down to fish heads and, you know, even the roe that we dry. We do so much in-house, and that's a great learning curve for a lot of young chefs as well, I think, is to get some of those ideas. And then we always hope that people come in at a certain level, and when they leave, they want to go on and do something bigger and better. That's our ultimate goal for people who come through our door, which we've seen quite a few.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah.
You've been here, as we've been saying, for 20 years, and I think, you know, Melbourne, we do appreciate institutions and, not, you know, places that have lasted for a long time, but at the same time, there's a lot of shiny in Melbourne. Do you think that in this current climate, it's riskier to remain consistent? Is it harder to remain consistent?
Consistency is our driving force as well. And whenever people say, oh, you've been in business 20 years, that's amazing. I say, it's not really amazing. It's actually a daily grind to provide consistent product and service. And so we have the saying that what we put on the plate yesterday will be exactly the same today, and it'll be exactly the same tomorrow. And that's just that little thing, that seed that you plant to go, oh, we've got to do this exactly the same every time. And consistency is what we really aim for. It's really hard when you see the city and where it's evolved and the different stages. We've seen it go through so many different stages and booms and slumps and all sorts of things. But we're not trend driven as well, so we're not really reliant on having to follow what everyone else is doing or certain parts of the industry are doing. But we're also surrounded by some really, really great operators as well. And we acknowledge that competition is really, really tough. And it goes through waves. But I think the city's in a really, really great place at the moment. It just has a really, really good feel to it. Been so much negativity over the last few years about the CBD, but I think it's a wonderful place to live, work, eat, drink, go to shows, sport. I mean, there's just so many different aspects of the city that are so great. We've got incredible galleries as well. And just to have our cute little bar tucked into the middle of it and being able to do our offering, it's really satisfying. Yeah.
I love the city. I mean, when I come in here, you know, I just think increasingly there's such an energy here, and it's great that people are coming back and embracing the city again. So has your idea of success, of what it means to be successful as a hospitality operator in the city, has that changed over the 20 years?
Oh gosh. Yeah, probably having kids changes a bit of that sort of perspective as well of what's important and what's driving you. But I think just not wanting to keep coming back to it, it's just about providing consistency as well is really, really important. I'm pretty satisfied at the end of the week. If it's been a quiet week, I'm satisfied that we've still done a really great job as it is as a week where it's really, really busy. Like we've had quite a full-on year this year. Like it's been really quite incredible. Like tourism has been quite an interesting increase as well. So tennis this year was really, really amazing. But it's just lovely having people through. We're open 7 days now, which we never used to be, and that's just seeing the city in a different light for us. And Sundays has become a real locals day as well for people who live in the city and becoming regulars on a Sunday. Mondays are just another kind of day of corporates and people just dropping in and hospitality people on their days off. So you just see the city more from day to day through the week, and yeah, it's good. It's a good city.
Did you always know you wanted to be a chef?
Not really. I did go to university after high school, but I worked in kitchens as a kitchen hand while I was doing that. And also, while I was at high school, I worked in a pastry kitchen and a bakery and a supermarket. But it wasn't really until I got to the end of my second year at uni, and I just went, I'm really enjoying this a lot more than this. So I thought, okay, I'll take a year off. I can always go back. And I jumped into an apprenticeship in that instead of doing my third year, my degree, and that was it. I was pretty much hooked straight away. It was instant that that's what I wanted to do. I was never going back to uni. Yeah.
What was it, do you think, that hooked you? Was it the creativity of cooking? Was it the vibe of the kitchen?
Yeah, I think there was just the creative side was something that I struggled with, I think, originally, but something that I was really interested in. So a lot of reading, going down a lot of rabbit holes on different cultures and things. Yeah. But it was more starting and finishing a day, starting a day and completing lists, serving customers, doing the pack down and going, we achieved so much as a team today. Like that was really quite amazing, and I'm part of that team as well. And even though I was just like right at the bottom, it just had just saw that there was a future there that I could actually contribute to teams, and maybe one day I'll be able to lead a team as well. So that was quite a powerful sort of like little turning point, I think, when I felt that. Yeah.
And in terms of leading, is that something that came quite naturally to you once it was time to step up? Did you have to think about your leadership style, or did you?
Yeah, I was conscious of the different mentors or chefs that I'd worked under and what I believed worked and what didn't, and so I had quite a bit of time of trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
It doesn't always come naturally, I think. But then there's other times when you're just so comfortable and in your space of knowing what you need to achieve and how to get the best out of people at certain times. That sort of kicks in sort of after probably around the 10-year mark. That's where you've really got your stamp, I think. Yeah. So you're doing quite a few things this year to celebrate the 20 years, and one of them was putting out a book. That's your second book. So that's our second edition. It's the second edition. Yeah.
Okay.
So the first one had a different name and a different cover, so it's just been rebranded with our name on it, which is fantastic. It says Lourinha all over the front, which is really great. Yeah, it's a beautiful cover, and that's been fantastic as well. That's been really successful, the book. And it's just great opening it up and just showing someone in the kitchen, hey, look, I wrote this 20 years ago and it's in paper, so let's follow this recipe,
That's right.
And every now and then I'll think of, what special can we put on that we haven't done for a while, and I'll go through the book and I'll send a message to one of the chefs, say, oh, have a look at page 57. We're going to give that a go tomorrow. Let's get everything ordered and prepped up. Let's do it. So it's kind of fun in a way. But there's also quite a bit of background information on Joe and I and our passions and how we found dishes or how we created dishes. Some things were just accidents that we came across something by, missing a bus or catching a train to a different place. Then all of a sudden we're, oh wow, this is amazing. And there's a bit of history to that book as well. Yeah.
Well, it's a beautiful artifact to have, isn't it?
Yeah.
As a memory piece for sure. Yeah. How lovely.
Yeah.
Well, with all that in mind and your experience, and I can see that you still are very curious about food and about learning and sharing, what would your advice be to a young person starting out?
I think just dive in. Just don't hold back. It's pretty easy to sit on the fence, but it's hard to get to where you want to get to if you do that. So just give it everything you've got. Go down the rabbit holes, read lots, travel, and if it's what you want to do, don't hold back. I think it's really, really important. And don't let anything else or anyone hold you back. If that's what your dream is, then you've got to go for it without a doubt. And the challenges are there. Like they're all documented. We all know how hard it is. It's not easy, but don't use that as a reason to stop. You just keep going and going and going, and it's a wonderful world, the food world. It really is a great place to be in, and you can make some people happy along the way.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Conversation with a Chef with Matt McConnell in the 20th year of Bar Lourinhã. You can check out all the goodness on Instagram at bar_Lourinhã. That's Lourinha. You can also find out all the ways they're celebrating this year and get in on the action. And if you'd like to hear more stories from other chefs, I'm also on Instagram at Conversation with a Chef. You can read this chat online at www.conversationwithachef.com, and of course you can follow me on Apple and Spotify podcasts. I would absolutely love it if you told a friend about my chats. I still reckon it's the best way to get these delicious stories out into the world. Once again, thank you so much for listening. Have a great day and bon appétit.